cordless tools are really neat, but unfortunately the charger for these that runs off of a 12-volt socket is pretty bad, to say nothing of the M18 one. And sometimes you want to run tools out in the wilderness of my backyard where you're not near an outlet and they're not cordless. So what are you gonna do? Well, you might get something like this, the Vatrer 460 amp hour 12-volt battery, and build it into a toolbox. And I say you might do that because that's what I'm gonna do. Here's our boy right here, a 12.8 volt nominal LiFePO 4 battery, 460 amp hours. I think that works out to like 5.5 kilowatt hours. It's got Bluetooth, it's got contactors, it weighs 104 pounds. And yes, I carried it out here on my own. I might regret that later. This is a 2-man lift thing here. Max voltage is 51 volts. And then there's the model number. This has an app. It's pretty neat. You can see charge, discharge rates and whatnot. It's not a starter battery. You're not going to start your car off this, but this would be great for like a boat or something, running accessories, or for building into an old toolbox you have lying around so that your truck has a massive power station built in, which is what I'm going to do. I got the old, waterproof outdoor shenanigans, and we're just going to stick that right there, throw a battery in, throw an inverter in, and have something pretty cool. And then we can test it somehow, see what all it can do. So first things first, I got to drill me a hole. I think I'm going to go right here with this, so it's underneath that lip. Might get me a little more protection. I should probably get a paint pen. You know, it would probably help if I wired this before I installed it. I'm gonna get like an angry call from John Ross later for how garbage my everything is about this, but I kind of don't care. This is not a house. Let's see. Does black go to gold? It's a little bit crooked, but it's in there. This material was just a little bit too thick for that screw, so that took a bit of effort. But waterproof outlet installed. It even looks like this is the way it's supposed to be installed, judging by the orientation of all of the markings and everything, and it kind of matches the toolbox. And in here, I'm gonna get a whole bunch of angry letters for angry comments for this. This probably isn't a good idea, but we're doing it. Inside the toolbox is going to be this guy. It's a Harbor Freight Jupiter inverter and the most hilariously overkill hookup wires I've ever seen, but it's what they had at Harbor Freight. Concerningly, these nuts don't get super tight, so that's wonderful, but that's going to go in there and it's going to hook up to our main terminals here. We got some safety caps that'll go over there. I gotta get this thing in the box, and then I'll have to slide the toolbox back up forward on the truck. Actually, maybe I do that first and then put the battery in it, because that's what a smart person would do. There it is. It's held in place by some studs protruding through the bottom of the box that are kind of holding it down, though there aren't actually any like tabs or anything. I'm out of breath. That thing is so incredibly heavy. So now we need to fix our inverter somewhere. I think it might just sit in this tray, actually. That seems convenient. I don't know if I'm proud of this, but it's all in here and it doesn't really have the ability to move anywhere. So let's switch on that inverter. That's the term. Switch on the battery and see what it does. I'm not actually sure if this inverter will run power tools, but I suppose we're fixed to find out. We'll all be. Okay, unfortunately, someone allowed me near the equipment again, and things have gotten a little silly. So what we have now is two 0-gauge wires running up to the car's 12-volt battery, with the idea that I can run the winch off of it. Let's see what happens. Well, it powered on with no issues, so that's nice. This also hopefully means that I can charge this off the truck's alternator. Now, obviously, this is not exactly a permanent installation because I'm not keeping this truck, but yeah, there we have it. I wonder, is the truck's battery being charged off of the Vatrer right now? Yes. The truck is currently pulling 1.4 amps of current. Okay, well, let's see what happens. Actually, do I even have the keys to this thing? I do not. Okay, well, let's see what happens when we use the winch. Okay, I'm going to see what happens if I just stall the winch. 41. That was 41 amps there. All right, well, I got the new truck hooked up to the old truck with the winch, and now we can see what this thing pulls under some load and see if the battery can handle it. And the reason why this is actually really cool is because in a manual transmission truck or a truck that's prone to overheating, it's really nice to be able to use your winch without running the truck and using the alternator. In this case, we don't have to use the alternator. All right, parking brake is set on that guy. Nothing is set on this guy. Yeah, we're just moving this truck. Whatever, let's see how much current it's pulling. I was just spinning the engine, but it's pulling 100 amps and the battery does not care. That is really cool. Okay, I'm gonna unhook this before I accidentally start the truck and it rear ends my other truck, because apparently this does not have enough compression. 100 amps. That's pretty dang cool. And we didn't use our 12-volt starting battery for that at all. So now let's make sure that the truck can charge the battery. We're down to, well, we barely moved the needle. We're down to 94 SOC and we started at 95. Okay. Well, let's see if this will charge it to 100, I suppose. All right, let's see what it does when I start the truck. Oh, it's charging. Let's check and make sure our wires aren't getting warm or anything. Nah, not even a little bit. This is just copper clad aluminum. It's pretty crap. Alternator doesn't seem to be struggling. How many amps that alternator is. Our battery charge light shows that we are not completely wrecking this thing. Nice. So as you're driving to the trail or driving around the trail, your battery gets charged, and then you get to the trail and you can run your winch without the engine on, or you can run your accessories, or you can go camping. I did a test with a space heater. This thing will run a space heater on low power, because there's like, you know, usually there's 2 power coils. There's a 750 and then a 1500. And on 750, it'll run it for 8 hours straight, which is more than enough to warm up a tent or something, or a pop-up camper or whatever you have. So this thing would be awesome for a camping rig or something like that, or just an RV in general. And we're still charging. Charge rate's dropped down to 24. Interesting. Some other features this app gives you is you can see the temperatures and voltages of all of your cells. In this case, this is just 4 cells, or 4 cell groups, and it looks like they're all within 0.001 volt of each other, which is pretty good. And we are charging. That is super cool. So there we go. That is what I did today. I built a battery box for my truck, and it is actually really, really cool. I'll need to figure out a way to make this all work in the Frontier, but it takes up a lot of space, so I'm not sure. Maybe it'll go in like a tow behind camper build or something in the future, but check out Vatrer in the description below. There's probably a code or something, a special link. I'm not quite sure yet because they haven't told me, but you also check out my earlier video where I used their 72 volt battery to build an absolute ripper of an electric go-kart. You could probably combine the 2 of these and have your trail rig with an electric go-kart behind it and in the bed or something, and you've just got all the toys. At any rate, thanks for watching.